10 o'clock, call the meeting to order.
I'll move to approve minutes from the previous meeting.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve minutes from the previous meeting. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All ayes, motion carries. Any additions or corrections to the agenda?
Nothing.
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the agenda. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All ayes, motion carries.
Chairman, I would make a motion to approve paying the claims on the register for $140,786.91.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to pay the claims. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All ayes, motion carries.
Yeah, you have the original.
We've got quarterly transfers, $316,033 from rural basic to secondary roads, and $27,893.25 from general basic to secondary roads.
What was the rural basic one again, Jim?
$316,033.
I'll make a motion to approve those transfers.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded to approve the quarterly transfers. All in favor say aye.
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 Aye. All ayes, motion carries.
At the League of Cities meeting, they had a guy from, retired attorney that works for the state of Iowa. I think the legislature created this board to look into complaints about open meetings laws. And he was up in this part of the state. The next day he was, I'm trying to remember his name, he was gonna speak to city clerks from Northwest Iowa.
Didn't they do that just like a couple of years ago?
Yeah.
When they started that?
But we went through some things to be cognizant of as far as open meetings laws and how, what information the public's entitled to. A lot of their activity is the Des Moines Registers asks for some, for example, asks for some records, and they have to decide whether they're entitled to it or not, that type of thing.
Isn't next month in Odebo, League of Cities?
I think it's at the Cattle.
Oh, it's next, must be in June, or May to. You can come forward, Sherry. I don't think we've got anything else going.
Thank you.
I've had two people come in now, they will have these home occupations with rural enterprise. It's somebody out in the country changing a shed into a business. And I've never really dealt with this before, and I see you're supposed to set the fee for such a permit. I mean, on the second page, I put, made a copy of what a home occupation is and what a rural enterprise is. So,
This is just a permit for the business, not for the dwelling or the
No,
building?
because they're not really changing, they're just remodeling the inside.
Yeah.
So it's not really a building permit.
And it, I mean, when we were constructing that stuff years and years ago, I remember, you know, the discussion came up and I mean, there was concerns about maybe transportation and traffic, you know, in specific areas, but the conversation surrounded not wanting to discourage anybody to enter entrepreneur type.
I didn't realize
Situation.
they needed a permit till I went back here.
Is this out of our zoning ordinances?
Mhm. That's what I, you know, when people, because it says if you're not changing the outside dimension, you do need a building
Right.
permit. And that's what this is kind of, I always thought was a building permit. Well, now it's kind of different. This is more of a permit to,
And I, you know, at the time, there was discussion about both and the fact that they didn't change the footprint, but then also the business discussion and really did surround the idea not wanting to discourage anybody to entrepreneurial type stuff. Have you checked to see what anyone else's?
fees on.
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
I mean, I guess I would like it to be minimal because we don't want to discourage the business piece.
No, I didn't. I should have.
How many people have you had?
Got the second one just came in.
Oh, really?
The first one, I didn't really realize, they said we didn't have no fee charge, and I let them go through. Yeah,
Yeah.
and then later,
Does this tie into collection of sales tax?
Well, not, I mean, that's.
Necessarily.
Yeah,
I mean,
not.
Some of these entities could be collecting sales tax
Sure.
in the unincorporated
Sure.
area.
Sure.
this one that I just got in now, they're talking about getting a sales permit and stuff like that, so.
Okay. Well, this is, you know, the intent of this is to make it count, you know, that we're aware of this business, you know, it might be, we'll say, for example, this type of business that we weren't in favor of or
Or
encouraging.
desirable.
Discouraging.
Well, like an adult bookstore or something.
Well, I mean, I think there was.
What's the intent of this?
That was the intent, was
This
to.
is the guard for kind of protect neighbors or
Right.
or the county as a whole from,
Something that's not desirable,
Yeah.
whatever the budget might be.
So then, does it always, it seems like it comes down to me to decide if it's desirable or not? You know what I mean? I don't know if I like this idea.
Well, but that was the intent of this being included. I mean, it really was.
well, you think about that this is a, you know, gives the community a heads up that
What's
this is coming on.
Mhm.
And then that gives the public chance to react.
Does that mean you can change the amount every time?
I wouldn't think so.
No, no.
I
it's gotta
haven't
be-
seen the
yeah.
code there, I mean.
But I think you could probably not approve the permit. I don't think you could probably change the fee scale, but you
No,
could,
no, your
you
fees.
could decline the permit.
Yeah, the fees is just a
On
set permit
base-
no matter.
On certain.
Board of Supervisors shall set the fee for such permits. The way that reads, you guys could set it differently every time.
I just think it's gonna be a one-time set fee. That's the way I
No.
understand. You set the fee and this is
What
what
about
it's gonna
$20?
be.
Set it at $20?
Whatever, I mean, I would like it to be reasonable. What, in this context, what, I guess I would just like it to cover your time.
Okay.
I mean, right?
Yeah,
So,
maybe that wouldn't.
I don't know if you wanna see what the fees are for the other ones, just, does it make any difference? You know what I mean? I don't know if that,
well, but those would be construction.
yeah, that's construction
Yeah.
fees, so I know it's different, but.
What would you estimate your time involvement would be. If somebody contacts you, and does it take you an hour, does it take you more?
Well, the first one was not a big deal, it just kind of went on through. Now, the second one is, well, it's the winery. Phillips is, they're making a winery out there.
Oh, Norman.
Norm, yeah. You know, that one, we're having a lot more issues because we gotta deal with the septic system and the.
But
You know
that's
what I
a
mean?
separate.
But, yeah, but those would be separate issues.
Yeah, but even the run of the water from the winery can't go into the septic, so we gotta make issues
But I
for
mean,
that. You know,
The
it's.
permit would be a different issue than the septic or.
Yeah, from the septic
Yeah.
would, but the waste from the winery can't go to the septic, so we're have to figure that out. So I mean, there's a difference there that way, you know, but,
But on the permit, you think you spent an hour?
yeah, I was gonna say probably, yeah,
Okay.
you know, I don't think it'll be any,
But when you, while issuing that permit, you have to make sure that that waste doesn't go to the septic, and you
Yeah.
have to do.
yeah, you know, but that's,
I mean,
we've done a lot of checking
you wanna look
into
at
that.
Sure.
Because, you know, I don't know how much waste it is or what,
Yeah.
but I find out that that can't go into a septic system or into a leach field. You know what I
So-
mean, because of the sugar and stuff.
So, what do we think? $50 would be
Oh, yeah.
give or take an hour for
Yeah,
you?
and, you know, what one does, the other one didn't take hardly any time, you know, so, you know, I'm sure it's.
So maybe 25, so I don't know. I just want it to be
20, 30.
not discouraging.
Okay.
So then the question is, what level is not discouraging? Would $25 cover
Yeah.
your?
I think so.
Set a scale on estimated annual income or annual sales.
Yeah,
Let's
that's,
make it complicated.
No.
Let's not.
no, let's not.
I'll make a motion to set the permit at $25.
I'll second that motion.
Motion's been made and seconded.
Annually? And, well,
No.
it wouldn't be an
time.
annual.
One time.
Yeah.
Okay, they don't have to renew.
No, there was one of them is supposed to,
The rural enterprise is one way that.
one of
reads.
them's,
Has to annually tell you how
yeah, how
many
many
employees.
people it's gonna carry on. They're supposed to let us renew, but I don't think
First
it needs to be a
paragraph,
a
first page.
month, a yearly fee. I think it's a one-time deal.
Would you say $25?
Yeah.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right.
Aye. All ayes, motion carries.
That's all I needed then, I guess.
Thank you, Sheriff.
Hey, if you send a building permit in, how long is it good for? The building permit, if it's 6 months or?
I'd say at least a year.
Oh, okay, okay.
To get the construction done, you mean?
Well, at least to get started, because I mean, like the elevator up there too, they called about that, you know, and we can't expect them to do that in that time, so
Mm.
I said they had more time, you know,
Okay.
but.
You have to get a building permit for hoop buildings.
Mhm. Yeah. Is that it?
Thank you.
Sheriff.
What would you have to get, if you build a big tree house, do you have to get a building permit?
Not if it's off the ground, I would say.
My brother's building a big tree house.
I would say if it's not on the ground, wouldn't you?
Have you seen that show on television,
Yeah,
Wilderness, or?
they build tree houses, yeah.
His son, they live in California, and, they're going to recess.
We'll go into recess as we're waiting.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Thank you.
How many applications have you had from the ad?
I don't even know for sure.
Excuse me, I didn't.
I'm not sure.
Oh.
I think around 30, but I'm not, I haven't counted them to be specific.
In the transition and things, and in consideration, do you feel like you're gonna be able to hire the qualifications that you're
Yes,
looking for?
I do,
For this
yes.
recommend?
I've had, there's probably 4 or 5 of them that would fit it, so, some real good applications.
Okay.
And both the girls have done such a fantastic job stepping up and taking everything over and finding things that weren't done, things that were held since before 2000.
Oh my God.
Some still dated checks that I had to write and talk to people about. About a half dozen of those. You know, so we're getting it taken care of. It's just taking some time and the state has come twice and helped the girls for a full day each time. And that's been
That's
real
good.
good. Yeah, yeah, really good. They haven't charged us anything, that's what surprises me, they have not charged. And she said, no, she said, actually, it's easier to be here and walk her through things than it is to try and do it on the phone. She said, since she's unfamiliar with some of it. So, that's been good.
Am I looking at this properly? The change would be about $6,500 less than what we
Yes.
were doing.
Yeah, that's with 3 full-time, yes.
That doesn't take into account benefits.
Right. That would change the.
Well, but she had benefits, so, yeah.
One
It's
would
gonna be
and.
the same, it's gonna wipe itself out.
But actually, we're adding 2 benefits because,
Oh, the one, yeah, you're right,
So-
yes. So there will be one, yeah.
The extra full-time position would gain benefits
Right,
over a 3-year
right,
period.
Right.
Well, you know, there are a lot of people that try and get this done in a short period of time, their yearly renewal, and, you know, I mean, a lot of them come up during their noon
Yes,
hour,
yes.
and I think it's important, if we're gonna make it, that we try and get people,
To be
they don't have to
efficient.
wait in line, and
Yeah.
they can still get back
To
to
be
work in a
efficient.
timely fashion. How do you put a value on it? I think it's important.
yeah, I do
agree
too.
And you know, it always seems like it's feast or famine.
Yeah.
There'll either be half a dozen people standing there, or
Yeah.
the next time there might
Yes.
not be anyone,
Yeah.
but I know, like Dean said, there are times where we do have a line.
Mhm.
And I think we need, you know, to be, you know, courteous and friendly and accommodate people if it can't be taken care of. Not just your department, all
Right,
departments.
right.
But that if it can't be taken, you know, we try and get back to them and, you know, accommodate.
Well, and the work doesn't stop with just the people. I mean, you know, they have a lot they have to follow up with after the people leave. So, I mean, there's a lot to it. She said there's a lot of checking in the books. We're calling the state, you know, and that was even when Lisa was here, so.
I'll make the motion to support this change.
No, I'll second that.
Motion's been made and seconded to support Vicki in there. License equipment, all in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. All ayes, motion carries.
Thank you so much.
Tell us what that is, because I don't have a clue what you're talking
Okay.
about.
It's a
We share it in
proposal.
this out.
I had,
Give one that Bruce says.
2 full-time people and 1 part-time person, and we lost 1 full-time person. So what we're doing is replacing it with a full-time person and making the part-time person a full-time person. So we'll have 3 full-time people in there, but only at clerk's salaries.
And so we're adding a half.
Yeah,
That's what we're doing.
yeah. Okay, thank you guys.
Thanks, Vicki.
Yeah.
Thanks, Vicki.
Yep,
I'm sorry.
thank you.
You say adding half, that's full-time equivalents?
Making a half-time person a full-time person. We had a transitional change of losing 1 full-time. We've had 2.5 in there for, what, 5 years? The part-time person.
Oh, it's been longer than
Yeah,
that.
'cause when I first.
Oh, yeah, because Bonnie was
Bonnie
doing
was-
And
it.
before Bonnie, it
Yeah.
was Donna Jones. Yeah, there's been 2.5.
I
So
think
we're
since
now-
I've been on the board.
That's
Yeah.
true.
Yep.
And so the deputy position is no longer there. There will be 3 clerks instead of 2, instead of a deputy, a clerk, and a half-time. We can recess for now.
Yeah, we can go to recess.
Tell the engineer.
Recess.
This is leaving on the table, that way.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
County crews, sanding paved roads as needed, letting the gravel roads, stockpiling road stone in motorboat shop, cutting trees in the right of way, temporary patching several road culvert separations until the road conditions allow removal and replacement, surfacing equipment. Project status, I had the pre-construction meeting last week on our Warrior River Bridge reconstruction. Contractors plan to close D-59 on Monday, March 31st, and start removal of the deck. We'll detour traffic on M50 to Highway 175, just Highway 39 and back to D-59. Guess there's nothing else really to report on that, except we did find out that the beams, the new beams for that bridge are coming out of a factory in Ohio, and, which is typically further away than they typically are made, and because this is a federal VR project, they have to be inspected as they're being made, and DOT, the last I knew, they weren't sure what other work they had going on, whether they were gonna send a DOT inspector out there, or whether they were gonna contract with somebody out in that area to do the inspection, but.
That won't slow up the process of the bridge or
No,
anything.
the contractor was concerned about delivery of the steel. He was afraid it could hold up the project, but I think he's got, and that's one reason he's using this flyer out there, that it's supposed to guarantee the delivery he wanted. It cost him more money, he said, but it's gonna give us
How many beams are there?
6, 3 on each side. The center 6 are gonna be reused, and the center span will have a extra, what they call cover plate welded to the bottom to strengthen it. Otherwise, when they take the deck off, they'll also put, what they call shear lugs in the top of those existing beams, which I don't, if they got shear lugs in them, it's an older style.
Well, they put, you know, the existing beam sits on a concrete bulkhead. Is that bulkhead being reused or modified?
Pretty much reused, they'll put new plates in where the steel sits.
Oh, so that should speed it up. If they don't have to pour new bulkheads.
Yeah, the end of the bridge where that back wall is, that back wall has to be removed, and that, where the, I think that row of beams is actually being moved out just a little bit, and so they'll have to put new, plates in where they sit. And I think they
Right.
chip out some concrete and pour those new plates in there, but,
So that should speed it up.
yeah, I mean.
I mean, it simplifies it a bit.
The weather shouldn't delay them as much.
No,
because
they're not working.
They're not working in the water.
That's
not
what,
working-
I was talking in the coffee shop in Wall Lake. And, you know, they're not gonna be down in the water.
The contractor, you know, the
Hopefully.
contractor. Yeah, hopefully they're not in the water. The contractor, I think, still felt that the 60 days that the DOT allowed for the contract was plenty short, that he thought they should have more days than 60. It is what it is, I guess.
So that they set the new beams in pretty well, and then they just pour a sandwich, like, you know,
They'll pour a new deck on top. It's,
yeah, they just form it with plywood.
yeah,
I call it like a wafer. It's just a lot of rebar
Yeah.
and concrete
Yeah.
poured, and that's,
I guess I'd have to go and listen. I guess I can't remember off the top of my head how thick that deck, new deck is.
oh, what's the width?
26,
What is it now?
22. The new deck thickness is 7.5 inches. Well, it's 7.5 inches between the exterior beam and the second beam. On the outside of that, it's 9.5 inches thick.
I always thought it looked like about a foot thick.
Well, on our continuous concrete slab bridges, they are, you know, most of those are 16 to 18 thick, where there's no beam supports. I mean, it's just
Oh,
steel. Yeah, this won't have near as much steel in it as our concrete slab bridges do.
the one that was much rebar in it.
Right. Right.
Oh,
I couldn't tell real quick from the drawing there, it might be just a little, the center span, because, you know, there's a crown to it. And between those center two beams, they gotta put the crown in it to get the slope to the outside. It looks like it's a little bit thicker than that 7.5 inches in the center. Because I'm sure they don't crown the plywood, the plywood's gonna be flat between those two, but they gotta have a little bit thicker. So that might be 8.5 inches in the center. But that outside, they've got to thicken because they're spanning that.
will they have to drive pilings?
No,
They're just all the, not permanent pilings, but I meant, for the.
temporary,
concrete.
no.
They won't? Everything will rest on the beam.
They'll,
That should speed it up too.
yeah, they'll all hang on, I mean, they'll form off the existing beam. But like that outside, the roadway will actually, to the outside of the actual deck is about 3'10", almost 4 feet is gonna be hanging outside that outside beam.
Oh, really?
That's why
So
they
that's gotta be a little thick.
That's why they thicken that up out there, and then of course your bridge railing sits out there on there too.
That'll be poured on that. That'll be,
Yeah, that'll be poured.
That'll be
It's an open rail.
like all our, they'll be
Like
very similar.
Our newer styles, yeah. Yeah, from the top driving over it,
Well, no, it's not you.
you won't notice, yeah. But no, if we would've driven piling in there, then I'm back to the DNR.
Yeah.
Requiring us to
Yeah.
get those flood easements and all that other stuff upstream, so.
Have you, Have you brought that to the attention of your engineers group, that we've gone through that in the history that?
Not directly, I guess. I've talked to some other engineers about the issue we had there and the problems we had with the railroad.
Well, in the DNR about the easement piece.
Well, yeah, I mean, the upstream issues caused by the railroad that the DNR was gonna try to make us almost solve the railroad, problem caused by the railroad, is
Yeah.
what I should say. But no, I guess I haven't talked to the engineers group. I've talked to some other county engineers about that issue. And of course, Calhoun and Burns is, they're aware of the issues, and that's why, when we were working on this, he was trying to get DNR to give some clear direction before they spend a lot of time designing something and find out that DNR wasn't gonna approve what we were trying to do.
Well, they'd approve it if you wanted to spend
Well-
another $500,000.
True, true. Next item there, the white topping project on D59 west of Wall Lake, the letting was the DOT. And Chris did call me, and he had looked on the internet and got some, they post what they call as-read bids. The low bid appeared to be 2.6 million from Cedar Valley. We had 3 bidders. Second bid was 3.3 from Allied, and 4.0 from Crow. I'm not sure exactly how you say that. That's not one I've.
What did we throw out there for the estimate?
We had an estimate of 2.8. So.
How many miles is that? 8 or 7?
11 and a half, isn't it?
Are we going all the way to the Ida County?
Yeah. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Somebody asked me that, and I said, I thought we were just going from 30, never.
No, it's 11 and a half miles, I think, right at 11 and a half miles.
Ida County ain't doing them other 2 miles then, are they? Just to,
Not that them where, no.
So. It's 232,000 a mile.
As I said, it's over 2 million.
But,
And how thick was the overlay?
I think it's 4 or 4. 4 and a half. I think it's 4. And of course, we got that.
That track, that's a little deeper, doesn't
Yeah, I mean, 4 is the minimum. I mean, when we check depths, we always go, the minimum depth's gotta be 4 inches, and if there's some ruts there, yeah, it'll be a little thicker in the ruts. And then, of course, there's a strong half mile, 3/4 mile maybe, there between, well, the bridge we're talking about, and that concrete goes over there almost to M50. So that 3/4 mile, that's an old 6-inch PC pavement, we're gonna completely take it out and replace that with new on that section.
it? Where's that section you're talking
Well, from the bridge east,
about? Yeah.
that was an old concrete pavement in there, it's not asphalt.
And they don't want you to overlay the concrete?
Well,
going over them tracks and
typically on, if you're gonna try to put a white top on top of a white top, they want a separation layer in there, and typically in the past, it's been an inch of asphalt. An inch of asphalt costs you so much anymore that it isn't practical.
So where are they
And
going with the stuff then?
The concrete,
Yeah.
they're gonna haul it to our yard, and we're gonna crush it and use it for road purposes, yeah. That section of road in there was an old 6-inch pavement that was getting to be distressed and had some issues with it, and so rather than try to do something else, plus the issue with the railroad, try to match the railroad tracks that are there,
Yeah.
we're actually gonna leave, and when they did that railroad crossing in there, I don't know if that's been 4 or 5 years ago, they put an asphalt taper on each side to meet the railroad. And we're going on the north side, I think we're going right to the end of where they did that asphalt taper, is where we'll cut off the old road and build new. On the other side, I think we're a little bit closer to the track, but we're still outside of the track area itself. But there is another section of newer concrete road. If you go west of the bridge, up there sort of where the railroad track used to, where it usually leaves the road and there's a little curve in the road. From basically from M55 back to the east, that's about 3/8 of a mile. That is newer concrete paving that is in better shape. And we're gonna try something there that has been used and promoted. Instead of using the inch of asphalt as a separation layer, they actually use a thick woven fabric that they nail down to the existing pavement and then pour the new over top. Warren County did a project, I think, last year with that, and it's something that's, we figured it was a good place to try it. It's a short little section, and we can see how it works, because that road west of Nemaha, we've been trying to decide, what to do there, and because the asphalt, getting the asphalt lift in between, and then of course you build up that much higher, and all of a sudden you haven't got any shoulders left because you're coming up, and so if we could do, it might be something we look at, maybe doing something in the future like that up there, because I guess when I talked to the consultant that has worked with us on these other two overlays, when he looked at it, he says, well, 20 years old, you got your life out of it, crumble it up and pave a new one over top of it.
We need more than 20 years.
I wasn't quite ready to do that for that road, and now that we've got new Highway 20, close there.
Yeah, the use will be down dramatically.
Yeah. We've actually talked about maybe looking at, they do a process called diamond grinding. I mean, that road's got a lot of joint bumps in it, and you can diamond grind and smooth that off, and as long as you aren't getting the big loads that are tearing it up, you'll get quite a bit more life out of it just by taking the impact. You're not bouncing on those bump joints, and it hammers.
The other consideration though, with DFS owning the mill there now, that's gonna have a lot more activity probably than it used to have.
Yeah, and depending which way out of town those trucks are running.
They go back to 71 or to 20 or.
Yeah.
There's a lot of distillers grain from Fort Dodge plants that run out to Nebraska.
Oh, across there, but won't they be on 20 though?
Yeah, probably. Yeah,
But when it wasn't there, they were probably using it. I mean,
Oh, yeah, I think that's,
that's true.
we did quite a bit of patching up there, in, between 2000 and 2005, and since then, it seems like it's, we haven't done as much patching, and so I don't know whether we just had some soft spots that we got, fixed, and,
Just trying to think of the last time I was on there.
they don't ride too bad in the car, but in the truck.
That inch seal coat that the state's doing on 71, they're bidding that today from where they, north of the country club.
On north?
Yeah, they're gonna do that, and this is from, a copy of it, and I don't know if they're bidding that today, but sometime they're gonna do that, and then from maybe somewhere around Shaler, I don't know, in 20, the state's doing some more, but what do they call that?
Slurry coat.
Microsurfacing is what they call it.
Microsurface.
We're,
They're doing some more of it, in addition to, he's gonna set, if he gets it, he might set his plan up there by early, where he did last year.
and I don't know if they actually set up much of a plant for that. I think they
Just
set up
a
a
place
storage
to-
area
Yeah.
and to bring their materials into, and then,
Yeah,
because
yeah.
I haven't actually watched them do that project, but I don't think there's actually any mixing at the site.
That's what, I was talking to people at Wall Lake, and they put down an inch of tar, and then they put the stone down on top of it and roll it, I guess.
that.
That's what that is.
I think it all goes
That's
down,
what that'll
I thought
be.
it all went down together, that it somehow was mixed in the,
I don't know.
I didn't,
I didn't
I
watch
knew they
it.
did that section, but I didn't go down and watch how they were doing it.
But, I don't know, they're gonna be doing more of it, it sounds like, the state.
So is it a limestone looking surface then, or is it asphalt looking?
No,
Asphalt.
Is it asphalt
And
looking?
it's got kind of a red cast to it, because
Yeah, that's what
the
I've
stuff,
seen
the
it
stone
some-
is red.
seen it somewhere else.
It's not limestone or pea gravel, it's
I think he used quartzite
it's
out of
quartz.
South Dakota.
Huh.
So, but, and the N28 through Lytton, we're looking at doing some additional milling on that section to take that rut.
Are you gonna have to do it right through town? Because coming up to the intersection to our old 20 or D36, and you also said there was some other.
Yeah,
stuff.
down by the biodiesel plant in Wall Lake,
Okay.
up on the top of the hill, you have to check that out, it's, you know, just on,
On the north-south section there?
yeah. You know, it's dished out, well, there's a lot of, you know, Hallett's are hauling out of there and the bio, it's dished pretty bad.
Okay.
Similar to what Lytton is, I think.
Hmm. Well, you know, initially when they did that, and it seems to be the intersection of Old 20D36 and N28, from the north side, that's getting worse all the time. I didn't notice it so much a couple of years ago, but boy, now I am noticing it. And that's changed that much just in 2 years.
Well, as you drive 20, you'll notice you're starting to feel the ruts going across, I should say 20, old 20, D36. And so there is starting to get a little bit of rut north-south across there too.
Oh, is that right? I didn't know. That coming from either north or south, you certainly see that.
Anyway, we're talking about, you know, doing some additional milling on that this year, and we're looking at possibly using that microsurfacing, because once we mill that, the surface needs to be resealed up, and so we're looking at possibly.
So if this cement thing's $230,000 a mile to lay, what's this, what I call a slurry coat or microsurfacing?
I think the microsurfacing is about 25 to 30, I think,
So,
but that's the number they told us now. I don't know if that's,
It might be less than that.
I don't know if that's what all that includes, whether you know, when
But you gotta have a pretty good surface for that, though. I mean, inch and a half ain't gonna take care of.
it basically levels it off. I mean, it basically smooths up the ride and reseals the surface.
what's the hope of life expectancy of that treatment?
I guess I'm not sure, but
You know, right from the golf course, Spring Lake, north, drive on that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's good.
They did that last summer, and, you know, it doesn't take all the big bumps.
yeah,
But it smooths, I mean, from a trucker standpoint, at least temporarily, it smooths it up.
and
And
DOT.
it kind of, you know, you look at, like Highway 71 through Lakeview, that, last time they put something, it's cracked really bad.
Mhm.
So, you know, for 15 or 30,000 a mile, they're sealing it up, and temporarily it'll be smoother, but
So
5 years,
5 to 10?
5 to 10.
Yeah, I would think if you got a good road underneath it, it would get more than that. I mean, the issue with N28 is gonna be is, you know, it is rutted in the last, let's see, I think we looked how many years it had been, I think it's been 10 years since that was overlaid. You know, is it gonna continue to rut underneath, you know?
Yeah.
Because this isn't gonna add any strength, it's just
Yeah.
gonna,
Well, don't you think it's where we're seeing it, and even down by the biodiesel, it's where you're coming up to a stop? I mean, you don't, although going south of town, on the west lane, it was
Yeah.
going out, but it seems more apt to happen where, you know, where
Is
they're
it a
coming up to a
function of
stop.
speed? You know, if you've got a heavy load, the slower you're going, the more, if you're going 60 miles an hour,
It kind of glides.
it's not gonna push it down as fast when you're.
well, you know, when you're starting and stopping, and you got that torque on the wheels, either shoving it ahead or you know, trying to
Oh.
grab and pull is where you see more of the rutting issues, but we're not I guess we haven't, and I've talked to the asphalt people, trying to see if they had any idea whether, you know, was it a problem with the cold in place, having too much asphalt in it, so it's too soft and it's too flexible and it's moving underneath there. I mean, the 3-inch lift we put on top was supposed to be for a high easel loading, which is high number of axle loadings. Had, you know, quite a few. The more axle loading you have, the higher you push the crushed particles, so they interlock more and don't move around as much. So whether the running will come through again, I have a feeling it will, but next time around, we might have to look at doing a process where we mill. N28 doesn't have a lot for shoulders there, so you have an issue with trying to keep going up, and all of a sudden you're not gonna have, you know, foot wide shoulders left. And, so then you gotta decide, well, what it costs you to build shoulders versus can you remove part of what's there and rebuild it. Someday down the road, if we get good life out of these white topping projects we've got, you know, I guess I don't remember what N28's got for total thickness of asphalt there now, but, you know, we might be able to mill a couple inches off and then go a little thicker with a white topping and be able to come up with a long-term road there. But yeah, the ruts in Lytton, that gets into sort of a different issue too. Anything we do now with farm market funds or federal aid, anything, I should put that way, anything we let through the DOT, we've got to address sidewalk issues. And so we might do our,
What if there's not one there?
well, if there's not one there, you don't have to build them, but if there's a sidewalk there, and you've got a sidewalk coming in on one side, you gotta make sure you do something on the other side. So what we're probably looking at doing is, as far as our farm market fund, which is what we'd probably do the microsurfacing with, is we would, as far as the project we would not include the section through Lytton as part of that project. And so we negotiate that, pay for it locally later. We still would need to work with Lytton and address the issues with the sidewalks, but
You wouldn't have to do it to the DOT standards.
well, we wouldn't have them looking over our shoulders. We still want to do them to the same standards, but we could do them, say, with our own crews instead of having. If we do it as part of a farm market project, whoever's doing the microsurfacing isn't going to have a crew that does sidewalks, and so they're going to sub that out to somebody else. And so then you're dealing with a sub that, you know, coming in there to do a few sidewalks, and we just think we could probably do it cheaper ourselves, so that's probably what we're looking at doing. But, anyway, we'll probably, I would guess it's not gonna be next week, but the week after, we should have the bid tab back from the DOT to review and award that contract. Bridge over the Raccoon there, by Reman's, that road vacation hearings next week, I think at 11 o'clock. I'd have to look that up again, but.
I think that's right.
We did get the contracts back from Diamond Vogel. We awarded that contract here a couple weeks ago. Got the contracts and the certificate of insurance with the county list and the additional insured, so we need to get motion to approve the contracts.
I'll make the motion to authorize the chairman to sign the contract for the pavement markings with Vogel Traffic Services and the bond.
I'll second that motion.
Motion is made and seconded. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All ayes, motion carries.
The last item there, the oversized load, it did come through this morning, but I didn't catch it on the permit. They actually, when she called me, I was down at ISAC, and I thought she told me that everything on the new permit was the same as the old one. But, so I sent Chris and Ronnie out to watch them cross that little bridge up here on N14, and they found out that, they had revised the route and brought them right down N54 to Route 20, which is what I wanted to do originally, and I didn't catch it when they sent the permit in. It came down, right down N54, but we had requested on this load coming through that they center line our roads and stay off the shoulders, and so I don't know if that had anything to do with them changing the route to go straight to the new 20. The DOT originally had said that they had issues with them crossing and stopping the westbound lane of traffic for them to make that turn and come on to Route 20. For some reason they changed, but, oh yeah, it doesn't take them long to pull all through there, so I don't know, maybe the DOT saw how fast they went through on this first one and decided.
At some point in time, they're gonna have to do it no matter where.
Well, but see, when they came down N14, they went under New 20,
Oh,
and they
then,
came up on the on-ramp, and so they didn't have to deal with the traffic westbound.
Sure.
But yeah, it didn't take them a minute, 2 minutes at the most when they turned over there by Highway 4, so.
No, I meant to ask you last week, how are you progressing on the evaluation piece?
I talked to Mike about that again the other day, that he's been working on something, and I need to, with him and sit down with the boy, so they both, he does it with them, but then I want to be there, I guess, to review and see if they've got any comments.
Be sure that gets done soon.
I told him we need to get them done and get them. Jake break, do I need to, I can't remember how we left it, was I gonna call Ben and get him to?
Last I heard, you left it up to Judy, however she was. gonna
Well,
word
Judy,
it.
yeah, but this is completely separate. Judy did, they went ahead and passed over there, they went ahead and passed the second ordinance. And I think Ben here was suggesting that we just
I don't know where it went from there.
amend ours.
Yeah, I know
So-
you sent it to Ben, and his was different from her opinion, and so I haven't heard anything
Yeah,
more.
they just went ahead and, they got theirs done last week, they went ahead and did a new,
Should get that done too, because you'll be able to dig the posts hopefully in
Yeah.
30 days anyway.
well, we were gonna wait and order the signs, order them, we better.
Yeah.
I will get back a hold of Ben and see, but I thought Ben's thought was it just a
I'll
matter
second the motion.
was just a matter
Second and adjourn.
I think that was kind of his opinion, but I don't know, I haven't seen it in writing.